Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Indexer Office Hours. Today is the 26th of May, and this is Indexer Office Hours 259. This is a big number, and it is very impressive that we've been doing this for many years now, week in and week out. And it's been an absolute pleasure to do this so far, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these as well. So yeah, welcome everyone, and let's get the show on the road. So this is the town square for graph ecosystem participants to come together and discuss the most important and relevant topics for indexers. As I always say, this is a conversation and we do love participation, so feel free to get involved in today's conversation via voice or text. If you're having any challenges with the voice aspect, do let me know and I'll get that sorted for you. Otherwise, we have a text box in the corner. Alrighty. As a reminder, this session is going to be recorded and posted onto public channels like YouTube, so if you are concerned about privacy, just bear that in mind. And with that, let's get the show on the road. I'm going to hand off to Carlos for the regularly scheduled Report Watch section.
Hello, everyone. So this week is going to be a short one. We have two releases, patch versions. One for 𝗟𝗂𝗂𝗧, it's now on 3.4.2. This has a critical bug fix required, so everyone is advised to look into it as soon as you can if you're running 𝗟𝗂𝗂𝗧. And on the consensus-related clients, we have a Prism version patch as well, version 7.1.4, which is has some enhancements, but not as urgent as 𝗟𝗂𝗂𝗧. And nothing on the graph stack. And lastly, on Launchpad, we have 4 new charts out throughout this week. So it's Nimbus, Graph Network Indexer, 𝗟𝗂𝗂𝗧, and Arbitrum Nitro. They should all be updated to the most recent releases. And that's it for this week. So I'm handing over to Juan for Protocol Watch.
Thanks, Carlos. Okay, getting into Protocol Watch, we only have a couple things to cover, starting with forum governance. There was a small update to the separate withdrawable bucket for fully thought delegation tokens, which essentially was a bump to the discussion and kind of like a request from Mindstyle to please get that taken care of, so to speak, and implemented, which we do have a small update on that, but getting to forum research, we don't have any new updates. And in the contracts repository, there's one dependency bump that was closed and one PR, which is actually 𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗃 actually getting the implementation for the withdrawable bucket for delegation on a PR so that it can be reviewed, audited, and so on and so forth. So the bump that was requested by Mindstyle was actually responded with the PR from 𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗃. So a little bit of work on that front. But yeah, that's pretty much it because there's no new updates for the network subgraphs, and that would be all for Protocol Watch. So handing over to 𝗟𝗀𝗀𝗃 now.
Yes, I do look like Queen Elizabeth. Josh. Thank you for your sections there, Carlos and Juan. Okay, so I've been talking with Slim about topics we could cover in these discussions. Yeah, this is what British people look like exactly. And one of the topics that came up was X402. And so I've been speaking with some guys at EdgeNode who led the effort on X402, and I know that there's a lot of excitement about that. And so we're planning to bring some folks on next week. But I wanted to go ahead and ask you guys if you have any thoughts, questions, things you want to discuss in relation to X402. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of get a conversation going. I'll paste a couple of links in the chat just to kind of show the kind of things that we're going to be discussing about So just post the SDK, and then I will post this announcement post as well if people haven't read it, and then I'll also post the actual 𝗨𝗀𝗳𝗂𝗧 in the marketplace here. Have people been using 𝗨𝗨𝗳𝗂 in any ways that are interesting? I know that like there's a belief, having spoken to 𝗨𝘀𝗲 and a few other people in the ecosystem, that like a lot of the queries in the future will come agentically into the ecosystem. But I'm wondering if people have been playing around with it or have any thoughts that they want to share in today's conversation. I'll pull up a whiteboard if that's helpful as well. Oh, for some reason I can't start an activity. That's really strange. I just had the ability to start an activity. That's really weird. Oh my god. Discord issues again. Alright, I guess we have to do text box then. Yeah, I see Matthew's typing, so hopefully there's some thoughts there that he's got to share. Probably not really here. There's probably they're probably the one playing around with that as an indexer. It's not really impacting us. Yeah, I know. It's not really impacting indexes, but it's definitely something that's exciting. And I wonder if folks are like, building anything on the side using 𝗨𝗨𝗳𝗂 or playing around with it. I guess 𝗨𝗨𝗳𝗂𝗃 would be the person to discuss that the most. So I'm interested to hear his perspective if he ends up joining. Yeah. Okay. If there's no things that people have to discuss in relation to that topic, then we can move on. Otherwise, well, just let me know. But if not, we can move on. I guess another topic that I wanted to discuss is that we've got a few IOHs ahead of us where I would like to get input from people to know like what exactly you guys would like to hear from. There's a lot of things happening. I know that we've been giving updates on REO and dips, and that is coming down the line. I think 𝗨𝘀, is it end of month that everything's going to be released for those things there?
So that was the latest that we heard from 𝗨𝗲 last session, that he would be surprised if we can't get it done by end of month. But given that we are already at 3 days, I think that may be a little bit optimistic. But I would refer to 𝗨𝗲 and 𝗨𝗏 on the exact deployment date. They did have to go another round through audits, so that's should be wrapping up, or should have been wrapping up end of last week, if I'm right, and that means they will be looking to do a final review, do final testing, and then deploy the rewards eligibility oracle, as well as start initial testing on dips. But given that, I'll follow up with 𝗨𝗲 and Samuel on that, and I'll have some more concrete dates. But again, 3 days, as Matthew points out, that might be a bit optimistic at this point. But at least last time 𝗨𝗲 presented, there was no concrete blockers that he could see. So.
Alrighty, well, sorry, go ahead.
No, so I said I'll follow up and with 𝗨𝗲 and see what he says. So.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully things are progressing to be done by end of month. But yeah, as Tim said, he'll reach out and follow up on those items there. Anything else that people would like to hear stuff from? I want to make sure these next couple of IOH episodes are helpful for people. So like what like if you could you could ask for anything that you want from these sessions in the next couple of weeks, then he's far away. I want to make these as maximally hopeful as possible. I'd love to hear people's perspectives. See Carlos is typing. Oh man, it feels like everyone's outsourced their brains to ChatGPT or some other LLM. Yeah, that is funny. Any thoughts anyone has? Would love to hear. See, Josh is typing. Curious what indexes are doing to keep. Yeah, that's a good fucking. Oops, sorry. That's a good question. That's what like from what angle would you like to discuss that, Josh? I mean, we kind of spoken about like reward cuts and selling savings and waiting for REO. Jesus, oh gosh. There's some comments in here for you, Matthew. Carlos would like some feedback on the ref chart. I would love to hear your perspective on that. Yeah, curious to hear people's perspectives on what Josh is saying. Also, I see Paulie B is in the house. That's great. We were discussing X402 previously, and if you have any thoughts, Paulie B, on X402 in terms of like how you're using it and how you're playing around with it, like we'd love to hear it, because we're going to have a discussion on that next week with some guys who are working on that at the graph. So yeah, if you have any thoughts to share on like how using X402, we'd love to hear your perspective.
I just set up an agent to try to see if people would be interested in getting graph data using it, and didn't have so much success. But set it up, and some people paid for some things, but it's not like a ton so far. I think it might be a lot of hype, and I'm not sure if people are actually using it yet.
Interesting. Yeah, fair enough. When did you do all of this stuff? Was this recently?
Maybe like a month ago. I think it's still new. I'm not sure. I'm not really into the ecosystem hardcore, but just might be early.
Yeah, definitely a bit early. Yeah, do keep us posted if anything picks up on that side, because we'd love to hear it. Yeah, thank you for sharing the perspective there. And then more broadly, if anyone has any thoughts on the question that Josh posed, which is like how people are surviving in these current times and keeping themselves afloat as in terms of indexers and being an indexer, would love to hear perspectives, because yeah, we're all trying to make the best of the situation that we're in right now. So yeah, would love to hear perspectives if anyone has any. Yeah, Matthew shared some stuff in the chat, which was quite funny. And yeah, and so did Carlos, which is also not funny. Yeah, You're actually selling savings? Oh gosh. Oh man. Yeah, it's a tough time. Why? Oh wow. Oh my gosh. Jesus. Fair enough. Fair enough, Matthew. We're on a cloud which is uber expensive, so we finally downsized dramatically things, and are also having to move out stake. Yeah, killed Polygon operational stuff and migrated Arbitrum to PathDB, which was like 100 plus terabytes of MPV spread. Okay. Oh my god, how much runway do you have, Matthew? How many months are we talking? Oh yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That's private information. I respect that. Oh man. Slim is saying InfraDAO scaled down infrastructure, undertake some GRT, and reduce headcount. Yeah. And exchange coverage is astonishing. Yeah, it is very impressive. Moving more chains. Yeah. Oh wow. Which ones, Matthew? Which chains did you guys remove? Was Polygon? Yeah. Polygon. That's funny. Whatever's less popular, I don't remember the list. CPLs in the graph registry. Okay. If we just got every DApp back to running just on ETH mainnet, this would be much easier. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. And there's been a lot of negative sentiment on Ethereum lately, which is disappointing, to say the least. Does anyone have any like advice they can share? I mean, this is like a forum where we can help each other out. So if anyone, apart from just like removing chains, scaling down infrastructure, like, do people like, being in the trenches? Do you guys have any sort of like advice that you can share with one another about how to navigate these choppy waters much more easily? Be great to share notes on that if you guys have any perspectives. Maybe lessons learned, mistakes to avoid, kind of thing. I see Carlos is typing. Ario hopefully will provide some relief. Otherwise, there isn't a magical way to go around needing numbers to go up. Yeah. Yeah, GRT price, query, service volume. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, Slim's going to follow up with the guys on REO updates. Hopefully we can get some response there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, things come out end of month. So can we look forward to Oreo next month? Most likely, unless new things pop up. That's a question that we need to pose to the guys working on it. Slim said he's gonna reach out to those guys and follow up. I can do the same as well. Rem did say, like, if he's not, like, as Slim was saying, he'd be upset if it didn't come out end of month. But yeah, let's get an official response for him about the latest. And oh, you already sent? Yeah, fantastic, amazing, good stuff. There's a question in there for you, Slim, about the amount of GRT going through non-compliant indexes. Do you have any response there?
Yeah, it's currently around 16 to 18% of all rewards going to non-compliant indexes. But that only includes those that are not compliant under the initial eligibility criteria. And if we were to just slightly increase those numbers, or those eligibility criteria, the numbers will be even higher. If you give me a second, I'll pull up the numbers. I found them, or I gathered them a while ago. Just give me a second.
Gotcha. And while you're doing that, I'll keep reading these comments. So ARIA will help, but I don't think we can expect a huge immediate relief. Multi-indexes still need to unallocate or let their allocation expire. They also need to. They may also need to fix their setup. Yeah, that's a good point. Like Andre, once indexes fix their setup, the criteria needs to be more strict. Serving queries on 5. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I see Max is typing as well. Let's see what comes of this. Oh, he's not even in the call, but he's typing. He's a ghost today. I guess you can type. Oh, he's gone. Is Max on the call? I saw him for a brief moment earlier, but I can't see him anymore. And he seems to he's back again. Let me know once you've pulled up those numbers as well, Slim. It'd be great to some thoughts, and also looking forward to hearing what Max has to say. Josh is typing. Max has the numbers. Oh, he does. Okay. Nice. Was that a joke? I don't know. I'm joking. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, he's an edge of nose. You never know. Typing for a while. I'm very curious to know what he has to say. I got Paulie B as well, and Josh. Yeah, that's what I thought. He's like a ghost today. I saw him earlier, like just pop in for like a fraction of a second and then pop out, and yeah, now he's typing from not being on the call, so it's quite interesting. Oh, we've got a screen that's been shared by Slim. Right. Do you want to have a?
Yes, so I believe I have shown this at a previous IOH, but it shows how indexing rewards are currently being distributed, where the first or the lowest, like 4.3% here, is going to indexes that end up having to 0x0 their allocation, or going to subgraphs that have denied rewards, or going to subgraphs that are close within the same allocation, same epoch as they were created. So these are all like lost rewards, those 4.4%. The next 15.2% is going to, well, this is the current numbers. 15.2% are going to those indexes that are serving less than those 5 queries per month. If you increase the eligibility criteria a bit, so you require a minimum of 20 query producing subgraphs, you will capture another 11.8% of GRT. And then the big chunk here is the 50% of rewards are currently going to the top 6 indexes and their delegators. So that is a massive chunk. I think some of the initiatives that we are working on now will help like mitigate that and distribute it more evenly across the indexes that are providing a high value on the network. One of them being, for example, DIPS. DIPS is not contingent on how much stake you have, or not entirely contingent on that. And the rewards eligibility oracle in its first iteration will only be 5 queries per month. Then we will probably gradually increase it until we capture that like light pink edge color, the 20 query producing subgraphs. And then after that, we may look into like dynamically or creating a dynamic eligibility criteria where large indexes will also have to serve more subgraphs. And that would allow us to also eat into that 50% part. And if we go all the way to the top, we'll see what is actually going to indexes. Of the remaining 20%, around half of it is going to delegators, and the other half is going to indexes. So that the long tail of indexes that are not in the top 6 by stake control will actually just receive, or is actually currently just receiving 10% of the current token issuance. So yeah, there's quite a lot of room to work with here to improve economic efficiency in the ecosystem, and to ensure that indexes that are providing a high value of service get more indexing rewards. But we'll need to do it in a balanced way as well, and balance it with new revenue flowing into the ecosystem. Yeah, and there's a few. So the rewards eligibility oracle will help with the reddish pinkish part here. These are the ones that are providing a low quality of service. And then there's key initiatives that or key initiatives that are seeking to rebalance that middle part. One is having a dynamic rewards eligibility oracle in the future. Second one is DIPS, paying directly for indexing services. And the third one is the liquid staking initiative that will be tied to a delegator program, and that will allow the foundation to serve as a coordinator and to improve the stability for indexes long term. And that can help with what Matthew is pointing to here. We have a very sticky delegation in the Graph ecosystem where people delegate, and they let the delegation sit there for 4 or 5 years, and that may actually work to our advantage if we have a liquid staking initiative and we have a vault that will be the default for new delegators, as we can build that vault over time and allow that to allow the foundation to do some like off-chain coordination, so that the indexes will have a bit more stability and predictability, and we can also use it to incentivize a bit more like off-chain coordination, so that you see that the instinct is to reduce the number of chains that we support when we need to reduce the costs. I'm saying we as an indexer here as well, and if the foundation controls a large amount of stake, we could, for example, distribute it based on what chains are supported. So we could off-chain coordinate and say, hey, Pinax, can you support Sora and Rootstock and Sepolia? And then, hey, GraphOps, can you support these 3 chains? And if both of you do that, we'll be providing a long-term delegation for as long as you support at minimum 80% of the subgraphs on those chains, or 80% of 80% of the query producing subgraphs, for example. So these are criteria that I'll be circling back to in, I believe we said June, July. The official the official launch date of the liquid staking program will be in September. So we'll still have some time before then, and I'll circulate the criteria with the indexer community before we settle on them. And but yeah, let me see. I think there's a few questions here.
Yeah, a couple of questions in the chat.
So Max includes like a maybe add a ban for bad indexer for a specific period in which they should prove their worth after fixing their setups before they can reapply for awards. So the way the rewards eligibility oracle works today, it kind of has a built-in grace period where if you do no longer provide the required level of service, you still have a few days to fix your service before you get denied rewards. And it also works in the opposite way, is that if you continue to go multiple days without providing the adequate level of service, you will have to first build up the number of days required before you start getting rewards again. So it is kind of built in, but with only 5 days per month, it is not strong enough to really achieve that goal. But if we were to increase that number of days to say 20 days, if an indexer has not served any queries for a month, it would take them 20 days before they can start receiving rewards, right? So I mean, they could so there's some part of that already, but given that in this particular case, given that they are doing it on the time of claiming, it doesn't work as directly. That you would still be able to start accruing rewards already, but you would need to there is some due to how it works, there is some features in that direction in a way. Let me see. Yeah, so Josh, and you point that out too. Like if we make that longer than the 28 days, you could just restake. But at the same time, restaking means losing all your delegation, and in the case of also including foundation directed liquid staked GRT in the future, like you may not want to continue to jump from address to address. On Polyb, you mentioned JSON RPC. There is a very concrete interest from a third party to bring, or from multiple third parties to bring RPC data services to the graph, and that would allow indexes to supplement their income. Not always as directly as people would think, because for most subgraphs you will need an archive node. Around, I believe it was around like 70 to 80%. I have the data here as well somewhere in my sheets, but it will allow you, like it's easier to work with, like say having two full nodes and one archive node, and or similar setup. So it scales well to have both JSON RPC and like have full nodes and archive nodes. Yeah, either way, like it would be supplementing it, and sometimes archive node requests are like paid more tokens, so more like GRT. And yes, Matthew, like I do think that can help as well, like the getting delegators of CAPI indexes. I'm not sure if I should say that on the recording, but yeah. That's definitely part of the rewards eligibility oracle as well, and it's been taken into account. And it's something that when we started the research here, I was also looking into exactly who these delegators were, and making sure that if there's any like known addresses that have a large amount of GRT, that we reach out and that we ensure that is getting finding a new home in the network. And hopefully that in the future will be even easier, because we can direct them to a foundation delegated liquid staking pool. Oh, time to live. So Josh, I this is the first time someone has suggested a time to live for delegations. I know I would forget about it. I remember a community member actually like force close a particular indexer. I think half of the people here on this call know what indexer I'm talking about, and I didn't realize until like 6 months later, like we were talking about this at an offsite at the time. I didn't realize until six months later that, hey, I'm also delegated to that particular indexer since like 4 years ago. I had all forgotten about it. I think even me that is very active in the ecosystem, sometimes you forget like who are you delegated to, when do you need to renew. But I guess it could be an option. Any other thoughts around that? I guess that is what it means, like time to live. Is that what it means, that you will need to like periodically check in for it to continue to count? Yeah. I'm not sure if it would be worth it to add like an additional complexity there, especially if we. I guess we could do it through the liquid staking initiative. Would allow us to continue to work with large GRT holders, like centralized exchanges, asset managers, like wallet providers, and so on. Like we do want to keep things like simple and well managed for large GRT holders. I think that is also important both for that initiative to work, but also for more GRT to be allocated to the network. And I think that is like good overall if it can be managed in such a way that it goes to value adding indexes and not just concentrates in the top 6. But maybe something worth exploring if it could be something like if it's a liquid staking initiative, then that's a given that that initiative could do that anyway. So, but 1% of value every day, then I guess a regular indexer would need to, a regular delegator would need to send a transaction every single day. I think the user experience is not everyone is you, Matthew. Not everyone is online every day. But yeah, if it was a little bit more like flexible, it could be an option. I think even more so than that, I think it's something that curation signal would have benefited from. I think there's been some discussions earlier on old curation signal that is still on subgraphs that are not receiving any query volume. And yeah, that's about Matthew also. I'm seeing most queries in DRPC are full node queries. Yes, that is the that is what I've gotten from DRPC themselves as well. But it's so I feel like the overlap is mostly experience and already like the graph node also does allow for a like multi node setup where you have both for example, you could configure a graph node with both a full node and an archive node, and it will allow you to route queries. Route like graph node queries when you are syncing a subgraph automatically to the node that is providing the functionality that you need. So. But I do think that it would probably require a lot of rework in the contracts, and I would just from a initial assessment, I would see this as something that is more, is that where we want to put the energy? Maybe something worth exploring in a later session though. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Matthew. So. But yeah, this in particular is something that gives me like if we go back to the indexing rewards, the reason I was looking into this is just to see how much room we have, and we have 315 million GRT per year in issuance. So that is already like $9 million at the current prices. So it's it is still, even at current prices, it's still a significant amount, and we just need to distribute it in a way that makes sense. And given that top 20, 30, 40 indexes are the ones that are providing providing the most value to, well, top 20, 30, 40 indexes by query volume are the ones that are providing value. I think there should be a way to continue to gradually incentivize that kind of behavior more. And that also puts a number to how much GRT is going to indexes that are no longer not providing a single query on the network, right? 15% of say $10 million, to round it up, is $1.5 million per year in completely wasted revenue, and another a completely wasted issuance, and another like 1.2 million going to indexes with low uptime or so that is supporting few subgraphs. So yeah, 50 indexes, Josh, is maybe not like accurate. Like I think if you look at the network, you have people like I'm not sure if we have a Lip on the call. I think he's like single-handedly served the network with 25% of all lifetime queries, and yeah, you also have other indexes that are providing a lot of a large amount of the queries on the network. So yeah.
You want to comment on the stuff in the chat, Tim, or should we move on?
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything in particular that is for me there, but yeah, I do. I do understand that one, like what Josh is saying. For example, 180K per year is not much for a team, but many of the people in the top 50 would be just single individuals, and you can definitely run a profitable indexer with 180K per year and still pay yourself a decent wage. And I think that 50 indexes is a target anymore, unless I mean it is up to the free market forces, but I would yeah, it may be worth to have more of the indexes scale to a more like reasonable scale, and not through like manually intervening in the market, but more like over time. We should allow both large and small indexes to thrive on the network, but we definitely would have way too much supply if we have 50 large scale indexer operations. And it would probably be more in line with the with the demand that we have a lot fewer large ones, and then we could still have room for multiple smaller ones. So.
See a few people are typing. I just typed in sugar daddies based on what you were saying, Josh, and that was the first gift that came up, and I thought it was hilarious, but it is a bit disturbing, not gonna lie. If we had more queries, then it would be different, of course, but too much to play, not enough demand. Yeah, fair. Hopefully these conversations were helpful today in terms of like navigating these choppy waters. I mean, we're going to try to get a response from the guys working on REO and feed that back to you guys very shortly. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the update is that it's coming out this month. But yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. Okay, we're just at the top of the hour, so I'll take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining today's episode. If you have any final thoughts, Slim, just interrupt me and let me know your thoughts. Otherwise, I will take the opportunity to wrap. Dips has a lot of potential for revenue. Still many questions unanswered, though, but I'm still hopeful. If you could message the questions, we can try and get those answered next week. That would be awesome. Yeah, I know, Slim. Thank you for hopping in and just sharing some thoughts. You've always got some alpha that you've got to share. You might not think it's alpha, but it's definitely alpha for the folks. So thank you for sharing all of that and supporting as well. We're all trying to get through these times. So yeah, really do appreciate you. Okay, cool. Yeah, Marc-Andre, as I said, if you can post those questions, do post them. And we'll try and get those questions answered for you, perhaps in the next session. Yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining for today's episode of Indexer Office Hours, and we'll see you again same time next week. Okay, everyone. Bye-bye.